So today's video is going to be a little bit different to the usual in that I need your help. The topic of today's video is about brain fog, but instead of taking the traditional route of talking about things that I find really helpful with my patients clinically, I want to show you a couple of things that I've been finding, and then I would love for you to test this out on yourself and then report back as to what might be happening for you. Because traditionally on the channel, a lot of the conversations and the exercises and the strategies that I get you to try and do to solve specific aches, pains, and issues are generally based on what I find work clinically with my patients. Because brain fog isn't stereotypically a physiotherapy-based issue, I haven't had the privilege of running this experiment time and time again to then present you with the results of what I've been finding. But because of one simple conversation that I've had with a patient recently, there may be more musculoskeletal origins to brain fog than we may initially realize. So if you're happy to watch through to the end of this video, try the things that I'm about to present, and then please let me know what it does for you so that I can gain more and more tangible information to hopefully help other people dealing with brain fog going forward. So before we get into this experiment, I just want to take a small step back and talk about a really important conversation that I had with a patient recently that has inspired this video and the experiment itself. So as you may know, I've recently started doing online consultations for people that are struggling to solve their aches, pains, and issues. And I had a lovely lady by the name of Jude, hello to Jude if you're watching, who booked in with me not necessarily because she needed to find answers to a problem, but because following the instructions of a different video accidentally put her onto something that helped her brain fog. When she did the exercise that we're about to touch on, she felt immediate improvements in her brain fog to a degree that she hadn't felt for so long. But more importantly, each morning that she did this exercise, she felt the same tangible, repeatable results. And while one person's experience unfortunately isn't enough to guarantee a connection, it's certainly enough to get our brain thinking and gives me motivation to explore this potential link to see if it's a real, tangible connection for other people. So what I had envisioned for this video is I want to talk you through what Jude did that was so impactful on her brain fog symptoms. And if you are someone who's been dealing with brain fog yourself, I would absolutely love for you to test this out on yourself for not only a few days, but maybe a week or so, and then come back to this video and let me know the results in the comments section. Because if enough people find the same results consistently over time, then it may just mean that we've found something that nobody else has been talking about just yet, and can potentially help a lot of people who might be suffering unnecessarily from brain fog. But the experiment that we're going to run in this video is inherently and ultimately very safe, and the exercise that I'm about to show you is either going to help you or it's not. And if you find that it doesn't have an impact on your specific symptoms, please also let me know that in the comments below, because we don't just want the positive things to skew the information in one direction. We want to get a realistic assessment of whether this particular exercise can genuinely help a large amount of people suffering from brain fog. So getting into this exercise, all you're going to need is a ball or a foam roller, and we're actually going to go looking for some dysfunction at the base of your rib cage, trying to improve the mobility of those areas. So what I would urge you to try is just take a mental note of how your brain fog feels first. Take note of where it is, give it an intensity rating out of 10, with 0 being no brain fog, 10 being the worst brain fog you can imagine. Get a general snapshot of how your symptoms feel first, and then immediately take note afterwards of how your symptoms feel. Because again, we want to base this on tangible results. I don't want you to feel like you have to trust me. I don't want you to have to guess. If this is going to have an impact on your brain fog, you should feel like it has an impact on your brain fog. And while you may not be like Jude, where as soon as she did this exercise, she felt immediate benefits to her brain fog symptoms straight away, you might find that it could take a day or two of doing this to really start to see a slow, gradual change that you may not have expected from doing this exercise. But all essentially it is taking that ball or roller, and we want to start at the base of your rib cage, not the lower back, but the base of that rib cage right in the middle. And as we do all the time on the channel, we just want you to let the ball or the roller just come out to the side a little bit, just on the outside of the bumps that go down the middle of your spine. And then again, lying down, you can do this sitting up against a wall or standing up against a wall if it's more convenient to you. We just want to lie down on the ball, and we want to go looking for anything that feels stiff, tight, or restricted. It may be tender, it may not be. You may not even have any awareness that this part of your back is actually stiff, tight, or restricted, or even dysfunctional in any way. But for this specifically, what I'd like you to do is just move it around, find a spot that maybe feels a little bit stiff, tight, and restricted. I want you to just leave the ball here, let it press into any tight musculature that you might feel. But ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to sink through that muscle tissue and try and affect some of the deeper joint dysfunction that might be there. Compare both sides to make sure that you're on the side that feels the most stiff and restricted. And the really interesting thing about this for Jude, who did this herself, was that she found a spot that made her head and her brain fog change immediately. So while you're doing this, just see if pressure on these stiff restricted tissues is having an effect on your body that you may not have expected. Stay on each spot for about a minute or two, give it a chance to physically release and relax. Then once you've done that, just systematically work your way up the spine, and you can come out a little bit wider if you want to hit some of the ribs as they attach into that spine as well. But keep systematically working up and down your spine, comparing right to left, staying on the spots that feel the most restricted and trying to get to the stage where they feel less restricted. Because what we need you to do is once you spend some time doing that, we need you to then sit or stand up again, take note of whether you feel your spine is actually any looser than what it was before, and then quickly reassess how your brain fog symptoms actually feel to see if this has actually had an effect. And as I said before, let me know the outcome of this exercise. If it's genuinely helped you, absolutely let me know. If it didn't make any impact at all, and you've done it enough to convince yourself that it had no impact, let me know in the comments down below as well. And if you could also let me know the circumstances around your brain fog, how you feel like you've developed it, what things you've tried that have or haven't helped as well, just to see if we can pick out any patterns that might explain why this may work for someone and may not necessarily work for someone else. And if we get enough participants in this video, I want to make a second video down the track, collating the information that we found and package that information in a way that if someone has been experiencing brain fog that they can't get rid of, they can come straight to a video like this and say, here is tens, hundreds, thousands of other people's experiences that have ultimately led us to understand that this might be a valuable contribution to getting rid of brain fog. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I genuinely hope you feel that you can be part of this experiment. In my experience, brain fog is certainly something that can seriously impact a person's quality of life, especially if you don't have a tangible avenue that you feel you can go down that makes you feel like you're doing something to solve it. There are clearly a number of different causes of brain fog, some of them medical, but again, my hope for this video is that we might be able to find some random tangible connection between the midsection of your back and that brain fog. Because if you can, then that can be very simple to treat and definitely something that you can have a health professional do for you, but it's also something that you should feel you can take a crack at yourself. So as always, thank you again for watching. I sincerely hope that that was helpful and insightful. I look forward to seeing how you go with these exercises, and I hope to see you in the next one.